At the Metsi Resident Hotel, stakeholders gathered to discuss the climate landscape analysis in impacts on children across the Gambia. Lamin Jao, a children's representative, spoke about the policies affecting young people and emphasized the protocols they can follow.
So today's engagement is not just about climate change. It's actually about the most vulnerable, and the young people of the country. Who are the most affected people when it comes to climate crisis and its related issues. So having such an engagement is not a small thing. It's actually a big achievement by UNICEF and Clean Earth, and we must commend them and their partners actually for coming up with such an initiative. Because looking at it, children are not just, let me say children and young people are not just victims of the climate crisis, but they are actually advocates, they are change makers, and they are a very important part when it comes to, they play a very important role when it comes to the search for solutions when we are talking about climate change. So having these two organizations, Clean Earth with the support from UNICEF, to come together and engage young people across the country, ask for their insights, ask about the problems, and hear from young people directly, rather than just coming to maybe the national level and then suggest issues that are affecting children when it comes to climate. But what they did was to go across the country, talk to children about climate-related issues, disaster reduction and all that. Like they actually did talk about a lot of issues when it comes to climate change. So
following this, Mr. Admon, the UNICEF representative, highlighting the importance of climate change and its key aspects. He also stressed the children's rights within the community.
In terms of developing national policies and strategies related to climate change, and also promoting an enabling environment where the resilience of our communities is fully considered. All of us in this room know how climate change is impacting our children and youth. Every year, and particularly during the rainy season, we see floodings, but over the year we also see heat or feel heat and droughts, windstorms. But beyond that, climate change is also bringing a lot of sicknesses, is impacting our children's education.
Mohamed Hydra, Secretary General of the Gambia Environmental Alliance, delivered a detailed presentation on climate change policy. He outlined the achievements made by the organization since its formation and analyzed the current weather situation in the country. He also recommended measures on addressing outgoing challenges.
I believe right now some of you heard about the NEMA Act is going on. This is the National Environment Management Act, which is the one that is governing the National Environment Agency, that allow them and other sector to be governed. So right now they are reviewing that document. And how many young people are aware of that document? How many young people in this hall is even aware of that document? And this bill is what is dictating so many things that is happening in this country. And we are so proud to say that, the National Assembly has now shared that document with us. And we young people have also put our position paper on that to make sure that, because they have a council. And we believe that after looking in that policy, we feel like that council, the way it is designed, is not, it's not independent. A council that is full with all politicians, all the government actors, who can hold them accountable? No one. So now we are now emphasizing that we need to have a seat in that National Environment Management Council for our voice to be heard. And the president is the chair of that council, and whereby you have over 15 ministers, which most of them are within, because it's cross-cutting, environment is cross-cutting. So that being the case, we believe that this will be an achievement that we young people, so far we have been trying to achieve that. So I don't know how soon will it be, but right now that will be our biggest achievement if we're gonna achieve that. I know maybe it might not be during my term, but I'm glad that we have already started the discussion and we have already put pressure on the state to make sure that they review this document and make sure that young people are not just captured verbal, or just like how they used to say it in their press, in their statement, we are working with young people, we are doing this with young people, but we want to see those changes reflected in our national document. So that's why even in our regional consultation, we have come up with a lot of resolution that young people themselves have demanded. And some of this resolution, I will just highlight the issue of Banjul. If you know Banjul, you know there is key climate priority that we normally talk about when we said Banjul. One, that is the flash flow issue, and also the sea level rise, because studies have shown that some studies have shown that by 2050, but the 2100 is the most concrete one, but 2050 they said that we could lose half of Banjul if sea level rise to just less than 1 meter, meaning if we have a sea level rise of 0.5 meter, we may lose half of Banjul, and that is projected by, they said, 2050. Right now we are in 2025, so meaning we have 25 years more to go. If nothing much is not done, then we may lose half of Banjul. But by 2100, if nothing is done, we may lose the entire city. So this is the risk that we are currently living on. So that's why policy formulation is very, very important. That's why so many projects and this discussion have really helped us to make sure that we put substantial action for Banjul community. And there's also one thing that we have to be very clear. We young people have to be very, very proactive. Right now, you had some young people are calling out for Tabi wetland to be protected in Banjul. But how many of us are involving ourselves to advocate with the same young people? Banjul is our city. If Banjul is sink, we all lose a capital city. So
Mr. Mamadou Jallo, Program Officer at the Ministry of Health, addressed the health effects of the climate change. He elaborated on the impacts and stressed the importance of the advocacy in the country.
For the previous years, we have been battling with climate change in terms of flooding. We have seen what it has done, so especially in Banjul. So if I can remember, something has flash flooding that has happened in Banjul in 2022, where it, of course, it led to many issues in terms of health, especially water and sanitation issues. So leading to many people evacuating from their houses, from their homes, to a safer place. So I think being here, working together in terms of climate change is very, very important.
Finally, Mrs. Matiba, Climate and Health Lead at Clean Earth Gambia, echoed the same sentiments, calling for collectiveness and actions. Reporting from GTTV, I am Kausudafe.